Hello and welcome back to The Broken Doll. Well, last night I made a wonderful video and I used my overhead like I did like what I'm using right now. But here's the problem. You can only see if it was way over in this corner here because I didn't have it centered enough. So what I'm realizing is I got to show if I see myself in it, it seems to center. So anyways, I'll go over what I did and I'll be doing more of this, so it's not like we're done yet anyway. So anyways, let's take a look at what I've been doing. I'm back to these wonderful... Oh, no. So what I don't want to see or hear is one of these little doll heads falling because they're so brittle. Okay, we survived again. All right, so anyways, let's take a look. I'm going to see where I am. Okay, right there. So if I leave this right here, okay, that's my place where I got to be. All right, so that you can see this. So let's get... I can get you down a little bit closer. All right. Okay, so anyways, what have I been doing? These are the baby Patsiette dolls. I have new subscribers. So for them that are new, I want to go over some information that a lot of you probably out there already know. So I hope I don't bore anybody. But this is a doll's head, the front of the doll's head. I have the backs of the doll's heads right here. This is the back. When dolls are built back in their day, and probably even still today, it's back to front. And these go together like this type of thing. So anyhow, how do you recognize your doll when you get a doll? Well, you always go to the back of the neck of the doll, or the back of the doll. On the back, you'll see printing, and on that printing, it'll tell you the company and sometimes the name of the doll. This, though you may not be able to see this, it does say F&B on here. F&B. Capital E-F-F-A-N-B-E-E. So F&B. So anyhow, these dolls are from the 1930s, 40s. And I can tell you why in a minute, why I know they're from the 30s and 40s. First of all, this is called composition. Composition is sawdust and glue. Sawdust and glue is compressed together, and underneath, first it was used a cold press, and then it went to a hot press. And composition goes back to the mid-1800s to about the 1930s, 40s. I think about the 40s. It was done with after World War II. Out came plastics, and off the world went with plastics. But anyhow, these made wonderful dolls with the sawdust and glue. Now, why are these more preferable than porcelain or bisque? Is that if the child drops the doll, it may not break as readily. Now, do they break? Yes. If they drop, yes. But can they take maybe quite a few drops? That's the difference between bisque, porcelain, and composition. These could take many more drops before maybe a crack would form. Sometimes it happened under the paint and the child never knew about it. Sometimes it happened right through the paint. But anyhow, they could take more some more torture than what a child could put a doll through than bisque or porcelain could. And porcelain would probably drop, if it was dropped, it would probably break instantly, or chip instantly, or leave a hairline crack. So that it was nice to get a new material in that took off and made a better doll. What would be the better doll? A cloth doll. A lot of cloth dolls came out. More wood, and this is a wood product, but what I'm saying is maybe a more solid piece of wood, which were the Schoenhut dolls were made with a more solid piece of wood that were jointed. So anyhow, these dolls came out about the 20s, I want to say, squishing out the 20s, 30s, 40s. Okay, how do I know the year of my doll? Well, first of all, composition. It was coming to an end by the 1940s. And so anyways, what else would tell me the age of my doll? You want to go to the eyes next. Okay, if you don't have any other information, don't look at books, don't look at a computer, go to the eyes. I have two different kinds of eyes here. I have a plastic lens eye, glassine they called it, or we have what we call tin eyes here. Now I repainted these eyes but they're tin. These can be popped out, and I put in new irises into these eyes here, this doll's eyes here. These ones here are tin, and I had to paint them. As soon as I see tin eyes, you're going to go back to the 30s. Tin was stopped being used in the 40s because, again, like I say, plastics were coming out. Now, this is old stock. That's when I see a doll with glassine eyes, instantly I say old stock. Why? Well, you got to remember, plastics are starting to squeak out in about 1946 on. They were starting to come out, and a lot of these composition dolls were sitting around, not put together, waiting to be painted and put together. And in was coming new machinery to make plastic. And what are you going to do with older type dolls like this? Well, they put in the glassine eyes, painted them with the new paint. They painted them with acrylic paint, which came out the late 40s, early 50s. So they could maybe advertise these dolls. I don't know, maybe not. They just brought them back out. They were sold at lower stores, like 10 and dime stores, or a dime and nickel store. What would they call them? Dime stores or whatever. Okay, I'm going to call them dime stores. They were sold at lesser stores, maybe in a pharmacy, maybe in a grocery store, maybe a candy shop. You could pick up maybe a little doll, and it would be something like this at the very end of its run, this doll's run. After that, it was going to be made into plastic. Okay, so there you go. You got rid of old stock. That's what I'm saying. So this doll could have been very well made in the 1930s. A bunch of them just sitting around and had to be sold. And that happened a lot with dolls. I can remember somebody was telling me that she got a brand new composition doll underneath the tree in the early 1950s. And I went, really? And she goes, oh yeah, I had a composition doll in the 1950s, about 1953, 54, something like that. And she said, my mom got it at a little store. And it was just sitting in a corner at the back. And it was painted with, the man painted it with acrylic. She was from the United States. And she said, oh yeah, the man said, what color eyes do you want it to have? What color hair do you want? And he had wigs and everything given to him. And he sat back there and painted the dolls up. So not unheard of. And these dolls, and he said, I'll put the new paint on it. And it had acrylic paint. So why are we getting all these dolls with acrylic paint? It's because a lot of these little shops were also, could have been a shoe shop. He said she said you could get shoes there. And he had leather paints and everything. And he would paint up dolls at Christmas time, Easter, special occasions for your birthday. You could just get a doll. And she said, I didn't just get one. I got several composition dolls. She says, actually, I was getting tired of them. I wanted some of the newer dolls. But these were cheaper. They came out, they were brand name dolls, cheaper. Don't we always like a sale of something that maybe, you know, it has a big title name on it, a big brand name, and we got it a little cheaper? We're like that today. We can go to knockoff stores and get and I'm not saying knockoff stores, lower end stores, I should say, and you can get shoes or something or whatever apparel you're looking for from years ago. It's just last year's or 2 or 3 years ago clothing, and you wear it today. A little girl down the street, she wanted Nike shoes, but her mother went to a place in the States where it was a couple years ago, Nike shoes, and she was going around with Nike shoes showing my kids that she had Nike shoes. But the mother told me, she says, oh, they're from a store that I got them from in the States there, and they were just a couple years ago, she said, they came out. I got them cheaper, but they are true Nikes, she said. You know, it's just that they're old stock. And so again, you know, she bought them because they're more affordable, because they were 2 years ago. And her daughter was in love with them. And my kids were wondering what Nikes were because they never heard of them before. Because I didn't raise my kids up on brand clothing. So they didn't know. And I just said, oh, it's just a brand of shoe. I said, I could put an N on your shoe like hers was if you want me to. And they went, no. You know, they just didn't understand what the big deal was about having a Nike shoe. So just... this is just something I'm trying to explain when it comes down to dolls. It affected the doll world just as well. So now you got this wonderful little F&B baby, and you can have it painted, you can have eyes put in, and the whole 9 yards, put the little wig on it. Maybe it came with a wig. These ones did. They came with a wig called Caracule wigs. All these were wigged with Caracule. What's Caracule? This is a Caracule wig. It was on this doll here. It took nothing to get it off. And all I did was pull it off because the glue is so old. Caracue is lamb. Okay, baby sheep, lamb. Now, here's the thing. I do not care for these wigs for the fact of how brutal it was when how they treated the baby lamb. They were just newly born and they were killed pretty much right away for their fur. And they probably ate the meat as well. You know, but it was the way they killed them so brutally. It was right pretty much after they were born. The mothers were taken away and their babies were killed. And they weren't always killed in the nicest way. My friend Dodie's Dolls, she shared with me a video, not a video, a paper news clip about it when they stopped making Caracule, and they were showing the brutality of it, and it just would sicken you how these little baby lambs were treated, and it wasn't good at all. It wasn't very nice. So anyways, because of that, there were several articles about how they weren't going to be, people, I guess what happened was people banned it, pretty much got it banned, how these little lambs were being killed, and stopped the usage of their fur or their hair or whatever to be used on women's clothing for trim and for doll wigs, and it came to an end. And I think it was in the 1950s or something like that. It wasn't, if they were still using it, they had to do a better method of killing the lamb. So, but a lot of these were killed. This little lamb probably was killed very brutally just for this here. So I have feelings, I have deep feelings when it comes to animals and how we kill them for our usage. And I believe in the most humane way that we can kill an animal for our usage, that we don't allow it to feel pain for a very, very short period of time. These little lambs, they were not treated in that way. So people band together and said this has to stop, and I don't know if it was that it totally stopped, or that there was a ban put onto the way that they treated the animal and they had to do it more humane. Whatever. Those wigs will not go back on my dolls again, but I will keep them for the conversation's sake. But anyways, we're going to move on. So anyways, yesterday I sat down with my Milliput. Now we're talking about something new again. Milliput. What is Milliput? We discussed the age of the doll. We understand now. Let's go back for 1 second. We know the age of the doll. So as soon as I see plastic eyes, I know this doll was being put together in the late 40s, mid-late 40s. All right. Now, Milliput. Milliput is this white stuff that I used on my doll to fix up this doll. This doll here came with this crack. This is what I did to the doll, trying to get the eyes out. I broke the doll into pieces. Now, I could have just said, okay, I'm not going to put this doll back together again. I'm just going to use its body for parts. But I'm not going to be like that. I want a challenge. So I challenged myself in fixing up this doll, Milliputting its little face up. I broke its nose, the whole bit, and we're going to see how well I can get this doll to look like as if nothing happened to it. Okay, so that's the next part. Can I do it? How well can I do it? I want that challenge there. So now I took some Milliput, and Milliput is a two-part epoxy. You have two colored bags. You have a white clear bag, and you have a blue bag. You mix these together 50-50. Mix in your hands for about 6 to 7 minutes, and then it will set like a rock. Afterwards, it's just like a rock, but it's a sandable rock. So now I can sand that and get it to be nice and smooth so that I can now paint over it. So that's what I was doing with these three little heads last night. And I was getting them prepared. I've taken the paint. This is down to the raw composition. This is how I get the doll. And then I start taking the paint off the doll. And I use my knife to start lifting off the paint. You find a weak little area. The best area to get the paint off is where they seal the back and the front of the head together. And if you go up along in this seam here, you will find that it's the easiest area to start getting paint off. And if I was to start, I can see a little lift right there. See that little lift? And you can start pulling off paint. Now this is not the right area yet. I'm going to try to find that seam. Now it can make, oh, okay, this is going to make me into a liar. Why? They didn't use putty. They glued the two halves together. See that right there? That's where it's glued together. So no putty. So that's not going to work on this doll. But if I was just to keep going, I can take that paint off. Look how that's just lifting right off the doll. It's ready to come off this paint. Oh, there's some putty right there. And you can see how much easier the paint is just to lift right off. Look at that. Nice pieces. And that will give you your start. Okay? This is your start. Now see, as I pull away from that putty, it gets a little firmer and a little bit harder to take off. And so you got to sit there and poke away at it, you know. But it all will come off. It's all, this is just, now as I go back to here, look at that, how easy it is just to get right underneath that putty. Sometimes you wish the whole doll was done in putty. Because then how much easier the paint would come off. But that's how it is. Now sometimes I use my Dremel to help me out, but you got to be careful. A Dremel will take off your markings at the back here. It says F&B Patsy Baby. So we have an F&B Patsy Baby now. These are called Patsyette Baby. Patsy Babyettes. That's what these are. So maybe regarding to being a smaller doll. So anyways, this is what you're getting down to. Now underneath you see the composition. This is the composition here. As I take the paint off, you're going to be able to... Oh, I guess I am seeing some putty here. Okay, so it's not making me into a liar. There we go. So there is some putty going along here. I thought there wasn't, but there is. Okay, so you just go... If you start here at those easy areas, you will be able to get the paint off, and it gives you the start you're looking for. Now, as I come around to these curls here, I want to be really careful, the little wisps of hair, because this you don't want to take a Dremel to, or you'll Dremel it, like the Dremel will sand it right off. So it's really good just to stick with your little pick, whatever you're using, to get the paint out of there. And just go along with it and just pick away. This can take time. It's a time, this here, it's not a fast, something you can't do fast, because it just takes time to get this all off. Sometimes coming from a different direction can also help at taking the paint off. So that's what that's all about there. All right. Oh, so I mixed the Milliput up and I put it in all the areas that I felt needed it. Now, if I need to mix up more, I can. So anyways, this is Milliput here. This is it here. And it's not moving. It's not moving at all. You can listen to it. It's just like a rock now, a little bit of a rock there. But yep, this is the arms, and you'll be doing the same. When it comes to its arms, you're going to be taking the paint off just as well, you know, and you're just going to keep going at it. Now, this little doll is begging for a painting, big time. It's just saying, paint me. I'm done with this paint on me. So this is what I'll be doing, a lot of this over the next little while here, and just pulling off the paint. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to give you an update that I am back to working on these again, wanting to get these dolls done. So tonight will be sanding. I want to sand and get these dolls ready to be put back together again, and we can start painting. I do have one Patsy doll that I am working on right now. Here she is right here. This is a Patsy doll. And I gave her a little bit deeper of a painting. I'm not quite sure. I'm pretty sure, I am sure that one thing, she needs another coat. And I'm just not happy with the color. I'm just not getting the color that I want. I don't know what my problem is. I'm not mixing up my paint right. But it just seems like she's just a little off to me, this color. But it still looks nice, though. I feel that once I get her done here, she still will look great, you know. It's just a matter of, oh, what was that? Anyhow, just a matter of, I think, persevering through it, and I'll get her to look pretty good here. But, yeah, I'm working on her right now. She's another F&B. This is her a little bit more on the grown-up side, about a 5-6-year-old little girl. So you get more of the pot belly. Okay, there we go. So she'll have more of a pot belly, and on the back it says, well, this is Patsy Baby, but I have her body over here too. There's not much of a difference between the two bodies, just in the printing that's on the back of them. Oh, she's a Patsy Baby as well. Okay, that's what it says here, Patsy. Oh no, just Patsy. F&B Patsy. Okay, this is